Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colm Larkin. I'm the game director here for Cardpocalypse, and we're going to do some playthrough today of Cardpocalypse with some of the other creators. I have Fred on the line. Hi, Fred.
Hello, everybody. Good evening and good morning, wherever you are.
So Fred's a creative director and sole artist on Cardpocalypse. We also have Angelo here, tuned in from Greece.
Hello there.
Hi, Angelo. So Angelo's our game designer for Cardpocalypse. So for the first hour or so, the three of us are going to play a bit of Gauntlet Mode, which is our kind of draft mode, roguelike draft mode, where you build a deck and run a series of challenges. It's card games only. If you've never seen Cardpocalypse before, it's a single player RPG where you're kids in school, but everything you do is through this collectible card game called Mega Mutant Power Pets. So Gauntlet Mode focuses entirely on the card game, so it's just playing cards, matches, and drafting new cards in between. So we're going to go through that. We'd love to, if you have questions, I've got the chat here open. Fire us a question. I'll be looking over and I'll feed them through to Fred or Angelo here.
I've just had a timely companion join me. My cat has decided to sit on a brown paper bag and rustle it.
Nice.
If there's any scratchy noises in the background.
Yeah, that's good. An evil cat, very on theme.
My dog chose not to join me. They're just in the other room with the fireplace.
Plotting.
It's where we don't like to be.
I'm sure they'll get up to something while we're in the middle chatting. It's always good. Can you hear us all right? Can you hear myself, Fred, and Angelo okay? Chat? Anyone in chat hear us? Let us know. I know there's maybe about a 20-second delay, but let us know,
okay.
And then we'll get started. It is 9 p.m, just after 9 p.m. here in Ireland. We're in moderate lockdown in Ireland for coronavirus, and tonight at midnight we're going into extreme lockdown. So myself and Fred are here in Dublin, and we are sacrificing our last few hours of slight freedom. Angelo is joining us from Greece. Angelo, it's 11 p.m. in Greece. I guess you're sacrificing an early night.
Yes, but he is allowed tomorrow to go running free in the streets.
Yeah, well, we are allowed run free in the streets, but not go into anywhere. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the game now. Here we go. So
we should also say this is your first time playing Gauntlet in a little while.
I have not played Gauntlet in a while. Pretty sure, so I'm playing the Steam version. So we've just launched Cardpocalypse on Steam last week. About a week ago. It's still on there's a really good discount of 40% off Cardpocalypse. That's only lasting as long as the Tabletop Fest is on. So the next few days is a great time to pick up Cardpocalypse if you're interested in it. So it's on Steam, which means I'm pretty sure my save here on Gauntlet is empty. So that's fine. We'll play like basically the early game of Gauntlet Mode. So Gauntlet Mode is a replayable challenge mode where you're trying to draft kind of a deck as you go, and you'll see, I'll show you now in a minute, you unlock lots of stuff, so it's almost endlessly replayable. There's so much stuff to unlock, it'll take you a long time to unlock. In what I'll be showing you here, it'll be like kind of your first few plays. We're going to play for an hour, so we'll see how we got.
Yeah, jump in.
Okay, got chat. Yeah, we're good. Okay, Gauntlet. So we've also launched Out of Time. So Cardpocalypse has a lengthy single player campaign, which you would play by doing new game here. Gauntlet Mode is this replayable mode, and Out of Time is a standalone single player like narrative expansion we just launched at the same time. So we launched on Steam last week. So in the second hour we're going to play Gauntlet Mode for an hour, and then after that Angelo will slip into bed. I'd say it'll be midnight for him, and Ellen is going to join us here, who's our lead writer on Cardpocalypse, and we're going to play some Out of Time and chat to her. So into Gauntlet Mode. Yeah, so brand new Gauntlet kind of experience. So in Gauntlet mode, we give you the 4 starting champions. So these are kind of like the basic faction champions, one for each faction. So the essentially cats, dogs, rodents, and reptiles. And over here is Out of Time's champion Bloop. It's a special new kind of neutral champion we introduced in Out of Time. So if you own the DLC, Out of Time becomes a playable character in Gauntlet mode. And the other fun thing is Bloop also comes up as a potential enemy to play against in Gauntlet mode.
The extra pressure on you here, Colm, despite only starting out with the 4 starting champions, is that we've, in the chat there, we've got GB Aura.
Oh yeah.
Watching.
Hi GB Aura, who sent us a screenshot.
On our Discord has sent us a screenshot of a very impressive set of progress throughout Gauntlet mode.
So has beaten Gauntlet mode with every single champion. That was before Out of Time released. Have you tried to win with Bloop yet? Let us know. But they'd sent us a screenshot where they've got the, like, you get a little gauntlet, up to 3 gauntlets for 3 different starting decks for each champion that you win the mode with it. And you'll see now the mode is very hard. This is on purpose, very hard. Things have to go your way. You have to get really good combos drafting, but you can get crazy combos, so it's quite fun.
I think I have 3 or 4 gauntlets throughout the whole thing.
As you can see, I have none.
Not yet, will soon. Says
Angelo, what's the like guiding like thing when we were designing Gauntlet? What was the reason for Gauntlet? This whole mode.
When we were making Gauntlet, we've all had played a few different roguelike games, right? I think it was at the same time that we had that Slay the Spire came out.
Yeah.
We first started working on it, and we're all excited. We loved the idea that you start from the beginning every time, and you can try different builds. That some randomness will lead you into different situations and exciting situations. We liked starting with a big variety at the beginning, but you can unlock even more as you're playing.
And I like that it's kind of a microcosm of what you experience in like 10-15 hours of playing the Cardpocalypse campaign in terms of weird rule mashups. So one of the big things in Cardpocalypse is an inspiration we got from playing legacy board games, tabletop board games with legacy rules, and that's in Cardpocalypse. You end up changing the rules of Power Pets as you play, and it's in Gauntlet mode much quicker. So one of the first things we'll do is we'll pick a new rule, and that you'll pick a few different new rules as you go through the run, and that completely changes your kind of strategy. And I really like that in Gauntlet mode.
And we had the system ready. We're saying the card games, the card game rules, the cards, the champions that we have for the main game can very easily translate, as well as the stickers and the rule changes.
So let's jump in and play and chat.
Who are you going to jump in with? The cats?
Let's do each of them. So this can be your evil cat, Tiger Eye. And we only have 1 starting deck. So for each faction, we have 3 starting decks. So all the cat champions, the mutant champions, have these 3 starting decks. So they're 3 variations. They all play okay with all decks, but the starting champions, so this one boosts chargers. I think it's the second deck for all 4. Second deck you unlock. We're in kind of deck A.
So things start kicking into place.
Yeah, well, they're all good for different things. It's kind of mix and match, but deck B in all 4 kind of matches better with the synergies of the starter. So this one boosts charge. There's more chargers in deck B. Is that right, Angelo?
Yeah, you have much better chances to win your run with a second deck.
Yeah. So,
but you will pick some up along the way, certainly. Yeah. There's enough of them.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of. You'll see that you draft. So here's your starting deck is tiny, and you fill out all these cards. It's half a deck. Yeah, and as we go, you get a full deck and more. So you have plenty of opportunity to kind of draft to the rule set and to the champion you're using. So we're not going to spend loads of time here like explaining Power Pets the card game. if you want to give that a go, just feel confident that you can jump into Cardpocalypse, start the main campaign, and there's a nice steady tutorial. We'll show you how to play the card game. It's at your own pace. You're playing against the computer the whole time. There's no multiplayer in the game. You can play around. We start you with some decks, and then we start giving you new cards slowly, and it's a really good way to kind of get into the card game. We're not going to do all that now. We're going to jump straight in here and play Gauntlet Mode, quite advanced. I'll probably lose a lot. Let's see. So Gibiora pointed out that Cypher in Gauntlet was really hard work. We've talked about that a bit, Angelo. So Cypher is the champion that makes your minions pacifist, so they can't attack when it goes into Mega Mode, and I think that's pretty difficult to work around.
Well, it's a big badge of honor for Gibiora to actually get that done.
Yeah, and Gibiora has won Gauntlet Mode with that champion.
So I think I tried around 50 times and I didn't manage to.
So there you go, Gibiora. There's Angelo, designer of the game, hasn't been able to win with Cypher, so you got one up on him. Okay, Scrapper immediately threw a tiny dog at us for no result. This adds to my crusade against Tiny Dog, the card. I mean, I really like that the card's in the game because it's fun and it's good to have cards like that, but it's definitely something I would always get rid of out of my decks. Now,
it's an interesting choice there with Hypnosified. Do you throw it out early and steal something weaker, or do you hang on to it a couple of turns and steal something big?
So this are mutation cards. They're kind of like trap cards. They go face down. The opponent doesn't know exactly which one you have, and they're triggered by some other action. So this one is when they play a minion, like that tiny dog that suicided. When they play a minion, we gain control of them for straight away and for the remainder of the turn. So a really good thing is when they drop a really big fat defender on their turn, and then they kind of have to kill it with their own guys.
Yes.
And Scrapper's really likely to do that. So Scrapper is the kind of starter champion for the Woofians, and all built around defender and buffing defenders.
You can hypnosify his mega defender it makes.
Yeah, oh you can, okay. So we could, with the right timing, advanced play there from Angelo. With the right timing, we could drop Hypnosified, attack, trigger the mega transform, and then steal their 3/3 defender.
I'd say hold on to it.
Yeah, let's try for that. Although we might. Yeah, we should be able to trigger it next turn.
I'll get one back and then the next turn.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Why?
Generally in Gauntlet Mode, you don't want to attack first round.
Okay. There's a tip.
For the first battle, you don't want to attack first round.
So Extra in the chat kind of agrees with us. Hypnosified is better to keep, in my opinion. So don't play it early. They'll play all their cards and then it goes into top deck mode and then easy Hypno. Yeah, I agree. So if you're both out of cards and out of minions, stealing their minion is very powerful. While, if we played it turn 1 and stole the Semi-Cat, it would not have
for a turn,
shifted. So do we want to do that move and steal their 3/3 defender? I think no.
Now I realize that if you do steal it with Hypnosified, you return it at the end of your turn. So if it doesn't have charge, it can't attack.
So it would actually be really bad for us to steal it because we wouldn't get the goodness out of it.
Now I remember.
Okay, so I want to weaken their Semi-Cat before it buffs itself with Swarm. Okay, Cat Cubed. We talked about this before. One of my favorite art pieces.
See, but if you had played Hypnosified, wouldn't you then have that 4/4 on your side of the board?
So gain control of that minion until the end of your turn. So if we manage to trigger this on our own turn, we'd have it there and then immediately hand it back.
Work away. Don't mind me.
Yeah. So watch out for that kind of stuff. You're going to learn all kinds of cool tactics. Can we talk about Cat Cubed for a second, Fred? What made you think of making a cat into a cube?
Well, we did discuss this on a stream previously, and I was embarrassed into not recognizing that it was
the other pun.
3.
Yeah. So Cat Cubed is a cat who's a cube. It's called Cat.
Yeah, the story behind those neutral minions is that they're the duds of the mutant world. So I threw this out as a cat that was a cube. And Angelo very cleverly made it the 3/3/3.
Yeah, so it costs 3 food to play, and its stats are 3 attack and 3 health, which is 3/3/3. Cat cubed. And Angelo, you said because of this, cat cubed is actually quite a strong neutral. It's a good.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it down to 3/2 for 3 food, but that would ruin the joke.
It would.
So this card is the pivot for the balance for every other card in the game, is it?
I had to balance a lot of cards around cat cube.
I think it's worth it to keep the joke. Keep the joke alive. Okay, so they've gone mega. They've given us a pretty fat 4/4 defender buffed by their mega scrapper that buffs all their defenders. So we could drop our lethal, which will probably kill one of them. I think he'll go in on
He
it.
has a 2 attack.
Ooh, yeah. So he could just finish him with the 2 attack. Well spotted, Angelo. Okay, so cat cubed and just wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go mega on this turn, which will give us a charger. I could have forced mega and then killed his guy with my charger. Do you think that would have been better? Ooh, he didn't mega us there. Did you see?
Now.
So I can steal this 5 attack,
That's a nice move.
and that'll kind of nerf that guy.
You can always make the 5/2
How?
by choosing to attack and transform.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that now. So I'm gonna get our
So we're at the
charger.
4.
So we have a 5/2. Can you talk about the art in this one?
This is actually one that I actually wasn't happy with at the end. It was one that I'd done very, very early on as an early concept, just a big blob of a cat. It was, I think, initially called Blobcat, and it was taken out. And then when we
needed
art for the token.
Yeah, so this is the art for
in.
any Meowtant minion you spawn that isn't special, that doesn't get its own name. It's just called Meowtant and has this art.
And again, it's just a generic
Blobby
mutant
cat
type. Yes,
it reminds me.
It hasn't mutated in any very specific way.
You know those pictures people have of holding up their like ridiculously fat cat? That's sort of what this reminds me of.
This reminds me of a wrestling.
Jumping
Like
off
he's
the ropes.
jumping off the
wrestling.
ropes. Yeah. Okay.
Coming ready to fall on you with all its weight.
Which goes well with charge, but that's coincidental. Okay, so Angelo, what do you think we should do? I would sacrifice my cat here.
Yeah. Great.
But then I'm not sure about the 5/2. I still think stealing his, like really neutering his
Go straight
ferret.
into Mega Scrapper with the 5/2 now.
I'm going to steal his spotted, like totally nerf the ferret.
Yep.
I've already attacked with my. And you think just sacrifice?
You have another chance in your hand. Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, so we're weakening him here.
Now is a good time to get your Hypnosified out if you can.
Yeah, so now he's playing guys. We're both low. We can trade here. We don't have another charger. We do.
There's the rabbit.
So that's worth like trading with him for a choice. Then we can kill the boneless.
Oh, if you trade with Invertoise, you can win then.
Oh yeah, well spotted.
Yeah.
Yeah, always look for lethal. Oh, and I forgot, we buff his health to 3 because of our special ability.
Yep.
So it wasn't even a trade, it was worth doing even earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Won a match.
Through the first round. Which may not seem like a lot, but I've frequently lost on that first round.
Yeah. Now here's a good start. So remember, our minion buffs chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So how this works is we spawn, or kind of like deal three pairs of cards, and you get to pick a pair to add to your deck permanently.
Add into the deck.
And there's no way to remove cards. You can't get rid of any duds. So you just got to try and pick better cards and kind of.
It's about working the statistics, to make sure you're not drawing those neutral ones as often.
So we can take these 2 cards, or these 2 cards, or these 2 cards, and that's the only choice we get. We can't pick just one of them. So I would certainly be tempted by 2 of these guys. Nothing else has charge
Lends
here.
into the theme of the deck.
Yeah.
Reflector is a very powerful card, though, if you can use it the way you did.
Yeah, we do have one, and it is dependent on them having a fatty. This guy is really good, though, Cthulhu.
Cthulhu, yep.
Steal a guy. And nice fat body. Though he's expensive.
Fred, can you talk about a bit about glitters? Because GBO on chat says he thinks glitters looks more like a dog than a cat.
He does look a bit like a dog, like a little terrier.
Hairy, scruffy cat. The ears, perhaps it's the ears. Glitters would have been based off a little. Do you know the Scottish fold cats that have the little tucked up ears?
Guess you have to be a cat expert.
You probably have to be a cat expert. Well, an expert on most pets these days, simply because they spent months and months trawling through images.
He definitely has a cat's tail.
Reference. Definitely has a cat's tail.
I see terrier in the head, all right.
Yeah.
I always thought that that V on is that V like something on the chest? Or
That's his cape, surely. The tie of his cape.
It's just a general kind of
Superhero
type
pattern.
thing, yeah.
Okay.
One good way to tell cats versus dogs is cats generally have those vertical eyes.
Oh yeah, so you've got the kind of cat eye style. Yeah.
Very much in the
Yeah.
look of the
So
cat.
there's
a few
the cat style.
a few common things that thematically go across all the images. Like even though some of them may look very very different, there's always a few.
Yeah, like here's the
common features.
It's just a brain, but you've put in the whiskers and the cat eyes. That's interesting. I hadn't known about that. Okay, we're going with glitters. Do we get our first rule change? Yeah, we do. Okay.
We do.
So immediately after round 1, there's 10 rounds total to win a gauntlet run. After round 1, we give you a major rule change. So these are significant permanent rule changes for you and your opponent for the rest of the run, and they'll stack. So Angelo, do you know the exact rounds we get them? After round 1?
I'm pretty sure it's around
After 4 or 5?
8.
Oh, just one other? I thought there were 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm obscuring this one. I'll read them out. So Meteor Shard adds a Meteor Shard to the board. First player to deal 5 damage to it gains a special Meteor Dust bonus. So it adds a new attackable thing on the board, and if you deal damage you get a free thing, and it stays on the board, like it'll respawn. So it's a kind of a change to play in a kind of weird way. Fast food, players start the game with 3 food instead of 1. So that's your food is your mana essentially, you're the thing the resource you need to play your cards. And shuffling, at the end of your turn, shuffle your hand into your deck and redraw that many cards. What was the change we made just now or just this release to shuffling? What was it previously?
Previously, the effect would trigger every time
you draw, right? Yeah.
Oh wow.
So it used to be every time you draw a card, this effect. So instead of drawing, shuffle your hand away and draw the cards. Now it's at the end of your turn, so you can do stuff like draw a card, play a thing, draw a card, play a thing. And
you
then
can plan ahead, but no more than 1 turn.
And then it'll shuffle away. So it still has the same randomness, but it's not triggered every single time you trigger something that draws a card.
Now, fast food I find works very well with
Chargers?
Hypnosified. Nope, Hypnosified.
Oh yeah, because they'll
get stronger things out on the board much earlier.
Yeah. Will we go for that?
Personally, I love shuffling because it allows you to skewer your food ratio of the deck.
Yeah.
And it allows you to not to draw cards that are better rather than the starting neutral cards. It's really good early on.
So the nice thing about shuffling is that idea of us like filling out our deck with good cards but still having dud cards that we started with. We never need to play them, basically. You just wait for them to be shuffled away. And that is true. Towards the end of our run, I'd say shuffling gets better and better.
I would trust Angelo on that one.
However, because you're playing the Tricky Kitties deck, Tricky Kitties works off the strength of the opponent. So you could.
So then 3 food is also good because we'll get the buff and then we'll steal their buffs.
Shuffling would go better with the second deck with the Chargers.
Let's try fast food then. But we'll play a few runs, so hopefully we'll try a few different rules. Catchula. So you don't know who you're going to face until you got to start the battle.
This is our fun Silence
That's not
of the
Catchula.
Lambs
Whoops.
reference.
Yeah.
Bunnyball.
Yeah. Catchula is so obvious. Bunnyball. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is a reference to. So you can see here in Bunnyball some of the gross out art in Mega Bunnyball.
Yes.
I
few.
I like how it's
heavenly to the Pipsqueaks faction. A lot of the gross out stuff. It's scattered around a bit, but certainly the little feral little savage rodents lent very well to some grosser situations.
I like how his rabbit teeth in regular mode become all crazy spiky in mega mode. So he has +1 maximum food, so we've slightly nerfed his ability by, going 3 to 4 isn't as big as going 1 to 2.
But if you see what's in your hand there,
Yeah, we gotta wait. So I don't know, should we?
he's potentially getting a 4-cost creature out straight away.
He's getting a 5 on his first turn, I think.
I prefer not to, because
It'll just give it to us, and we really want to trade it with someone he already has.
To hurt it back.
Yeah, okay, so then we're just gonna have a dud turn.
yeah, if you play it, you just get an attack from the minion and give it back.
Yeah.
It's kind of like-
What we really want is like him to play a 4/4 and another 4/4, and we get to
And then take
kill them both. Yeah, one against the other.
The 2-for-1, as it is famously characterized.
Okay, so he's made a burglary and a secret. Oh, that's kind of mean, making our things cost more. Because look, well, actually we're okay, but now I'm gonna play Hypnosified.
It's a great card. Burglar
You
is
want
one
to
of my
play until
favorites.
maybe attack with Belgrade. Play it safe.
You think? Start chipping away at him. Depends. Yeah, he could give us a bad card here.
Play it safe.
Oh, he gave us a good card, but so good that we won't actually be able to
Play
You
full.
can
two
have it.
2 for 1 it. Yeah.
Is it worth going straight for Bunnable with that? Not worrying about the 2 damage on it.
So we can deploy a minion. We can get this bonus card if we kill his burglar ray, but we can't get it because of the problem. So I think we should kill and get the free card here.
It does completely nerf Bunnable's Mega ability, I think, though.
You can do that now.
If you can turn it Mega on its own turn.
Well, the charge can attack.
Yeah, that's true. We can attack with our charger.
Okay.
So burglar ray is gone. That frees up our guys. Go back from 6 to 5.
Yep.
We get a free card. You'd have played the rabbit foot.
Oh, yeah, less health. It's okay.
Yeah, it would have survived for 2 attacks. That's right. Wow.
It's a small difference.
I think you're in a pretty good position now.
So he's got his portal face back, sadly. Oh, he's trading. So that overall worked out well. We got our free card. He didn't. We got to kill 2 guys. He's messing with us again. So we got to watch out for him playing cheap guys now and making them with loads of attack. That's his mega ability.
Yep.
Recommendations? I'm just going to charge and attack him.
You could trade for...
See, we have so much more health. I think we're
Rabbit's
better
foot.
off.
Yeah. I think just go straight in.
So he's getting more maximum food. I'm not that scared of that. He only has 2 cards.
Once it hits 6 or 7, it's
Yeah. The skinless cat.
it can get you with creatures with swarm. You get a lot of swarm.
You gotta watch out for the swarmers, yeah. And so now he's trading for us. This is all good. Ooh,
I think
he gets a copy of the guy who just died. That could have been a lot worse.
I think you'll walk it in from here.
Yeah. Just trying to look at the art skinless cat.
Skinless cat.
What kind of horrifying research did you do on this one?
I did actually look at cat anatomy.
Oh my god, really?
Images.
These muscles are correct?
Well, they're maybe not 100% correct. but
Wow.
they're-
Anatomically.
So the equivalent of the Irish FBI have you on their lists.
I'm 100% certain from all the stuff I was looking up that I'm on flagged and all sorts
Yeah.
of lists.
Oh well. At least it'll keep the rest of us safe. I'm tempted to trade here and just get the board. Oh no, we can win with chargers, right?
You can win from here.
Yeah. We're good. We can charge it in. Bring it home, Rabbitfoot.
That's why I actually feel Tiger Eye is probably the strongest of the starting minions, simply because of the charge, the ability to charge.
Charge is really
Gotcha.
good. I agree. Out of those starting 4 guys for Gauntlet, I think so too. What do you think, Angelo?
Charge has a good. You have more control of your rounds because you don't play a minion and then wait to see if it will survive. You just play it and use it,
Yeah.
and probably allows you to finish the game in a bit earlier rounds. You can finish a bit faster, so you don't get to see as many cards from the opponent.
Yeah, which is always good. Shut them down. So we have some new choices here. I see more chargers over there. So mutations. whenever one of your minions attacks the enemy champion, they gain ambush, which is really good, which means they don't take retaliation damage. So that could be really powerful with all our chargers. And Octopus, we steal a copy of their mutations.
This is a tricky decision, actually.
So these are good. These would fit in with our deck.
Yep.
I want to go look at this one, which I think is the least good out of these. So Glowpard gets stronger if you have mutations that haven't been revealed yet.
Works very well with a couple of other champions, but
yeah, I don't think it's very strong with this champion. This guy's pretty good, but again, it depends on them having mutations.
Yep.
You steal one, steal a copy. And
Worth
these
noting
guys are
that-
good.
Worth noting that Spite Spores is rare. You can tell by the
With the card style.
name. Mhm.
So this isn't something we've like kind of taught the player, but they have different borders. So these are common cards, these are rare cards, and then there's gold clawed ones or epic ones or
Yeah, the legendary.
legendary.
Yeah, as you progress in stages, there's better chance to finding rarer cards.
Yeah. So there's some behind the scenes on how this works. After round 1, round 2, round 3, you tend to get more of the commons, and you get more and more chance of getting the rare and legendary cards. And as you progress in Gauntlet Mode itself, so you'll see that when we finish this run, we give you new stuff, so we unlock more of the rares, more of the legendaries into the kind of the card pool that these cards are dealt out of. So we're playing. This is the first run on this save. There are less cards it can spawn, so there's good cards in the game that we can't get on this run until we level up more. So my play would be these guys.
Because you start with 3 food, it's good to start playing a Blair first round.
Well,
With
the 2
one
charges is good as well.
they're good, but we already picked 2 glitters last time, so I would actually go for Spite Spores and Octopus.
Yeah, third glitters would
Bit
clog
of
your
variety.
And I think Spite Spores is going to combo really well with our chargers.
And you took 2 5-cost cards last time.
Yeah.
Take a couple of cheap ones this time around.
I'm overruling.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a sticker. This is fun. So stickers are a card augmentation system. I love it. And so in between certain rounds, we give you a few stickers. You get a sticker, and then we randomly pick 3 cards out of your deck, and you can only pick one of those. So you don't have full control over where you put the stickers. I mean, this one seems obvious to me. Onto the Ambusher.
Yeah, I think so.
More health as well.
Yeah. So it has that lovely sticker effect, and now we have a plus health sticker. So we could double up on this guy. It'd be good on this charger to keep him alive for longer, and on this one.
It would also on the stunner as well.
Yeah, I think maybe glitters to make him stronger.
Do you want to draw? If you draw leads, you are very strong, or do you want to spread your strength so that if it happens that you don't draw leads, you still get stronger?
Let's spread our strength.
Well, ambush was another one that could be good to keep alive as well. But
Yeah, true.
Oh, Tuck's a tough one to go up
Tuck!
against.
Talk is mean. So Talk is a really powerful, once you unlock Talk is a really powerful champion to play Gauntlet with, I think.
Tuck is the one I dread to
To face
turn over at this stage of Gauntlet.
before
yeah.
we've kind of made up our deck. So Talk itself has Swarm, so as Talk plays other minions, Talk's attack gets stronger that turn. And then Mega Talk draws cards, which is very powerful in this game because we don't have much card draw, and makes all their minions have charge for the rest of the game. That is really, you can lose to Talk out of nowhere, so you're finishing them off and then they drop like 2 fatties and they have charge. You have to watch out for that. So we don't have any defenders, but defenders are kind of key to keep yourself safe against Talk.
You did just draw the only one you have.
We have
It looks like
one
we've
defender,
got
so there's a good tip. This is the only one in our deck, so maybe let's save this until Talk is Mega, just to throw down as a speed bump when we think we're safe. Rake Obscuro in chat says, Talk, heart. I'm rooting for Talk.
It looks like the chat's turned against you, Colm.
Talk is best champion. GB Aura says, loves Catula. No wonder you guys made DLC catered to Talk. Yeah, Talk is a fun, and we love the art and the style of Talk, the Back to the Future. What was the other, the Time Machine?
There was a few things there. There's a bit of Tron, there's a bit of Bill and Ted's, the Time Machine, and Back to the Future, obviously,
Yeah.
with the little tiny flux capacitor in there.
And which one of those movies features a mouse?
None of them.
Angelo, Tox design is kind of an unusual card.
It's all about time abilities,
Yeah?
moving faster, and also because it's one of the first ones you get in the game. I really wanted for it to have as little text as possible, and so players can understand it quickly.
Yeah, so it's quick to look at and not full of text. But some of our cards are full of text. We spend a lot of time trying to simplify things, changing abilities to read better, you know.
Oh yeah, if you'd seen the first
Yeah,
draft.
so like we had cards that worked well and we changed them just because they were too awkward to understand. So we simplify abilities a lot just to make them print better on cards. I'm pretty sure the likes of Magic the Gathering does this as well. They'll have cool abilities, cool cards, and they're just like, this is too much text.
Or what we did was hide the text in rarer cards, so that you don't find them right away. Like Bad Dog has a lot of text on him, but it's still you face Bad Dog so late you've figured out how everything works by then.
So, unlike a lot of collectible card games, we don't have booster packs. So you don't have a chance of getting, you know, rare or legendary cards at any time. We're more like an RPG where the cards are the loot. So we actually hand out early game, mostly common stuff, then slowly graduate you to rare and eventually legendary. So we, as game designers, are much more in charge of when in your playthrough you get stuff. So it's a little unnatural if you're used to booster-fed multiplayer card games. Much more like an RPG. What should I play against Swarmers?
Probably. Though
I don't know about this one yet.
Maybe just the Spite Spores. It's such
Just
an
so
awkward
it's waiting. Yeah, okay. It's safe until we attack the champion with a minion, and we want to save our defender. We could steal a guy, though he probably wouldn't die to the Invertoise. So I think you're right.
Probably Invertoise will attack this round, and then you can get it out of the way next round. Yeah.
Tox just loading up on mutation.
Oh,
And multiple swarmers here.
No, and with mitosis.
no.
Mitosis. Okay, so a lot of stuff just happened.
That is an absolute worst case scenario. At least he didn't get it while he has charge, though, because that would have been game over.
No, the good thing now is that they won't grow. He doesn't have
Yeah,
more space.
he has no more space to play minions. His board is full. That's all the space you're allowed. So he can't grow these with Swarm.
Yep. You will need to take out that Invertoise, though, so he'll get one chance where they're all doubled.
Rules question. If we had played Hypnosified, what the hell would have happened? Would we have gotten just the first one? All of them? The first one and its deploy bonus one? Just the first one, right? Okay, so we kind of make a pile of like
So
effects and we steal the first one.
All of those mutations still would have triggered.
Yeah, so... oh, good boy. So I guess we can kill this guy.
No, don't give him space.
Don't give him space? Yeah.
We need something out there.
We need something. I'm going to drop my lethal and...
No, he will kill.
What'll he do? Oh, you think he'll swarm himself and kill? Do you think he's smart enough to do that? Okay, well then let's steal his guy.
And you can maybe play one. If he didn't have space, he would have worth doing it.
So we steal the worst card. I do like the art for this. Semi-cat. It's the back half of a cat.
Half a cat.
Like,
that was one that I was very tempted to make a
facing
very
the other way?
gross out card. Well, no, just a gross out card.
Oh, like all the insides dripping out.
Entrails on the outside.
Yeah.
Um,
We are in big trouble here. Are we going to lose this round?
I think you may do.
I'm going to blame Angelo, whose advice I did not listen to.
You could have had your...
You're king.
How am I okay?
Get the Invertoise out.
You play the defender, you'll kill all 3 of his minions, and you're king.
Then this guy first, he's out of cards, but with 4 health, and that's our only defender. I don't see us making this unless
Do you still have Hypnosified there?
No, that gave... So we want this semi-cat to die, but we don't have a way to get it to die. That's going back to him.
Yeah, true.
So, sure, we can kill all his guys.
Thin out some of the...
But unfortunately we can't trade semi-cat because the swarms got big and then small.
And
I think
we'll
he's
go
gonna.
back.
I think he's gonna play a guy 2-1, 2-1,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
kill
there
us.
it is. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
And his swarm is gonna kill us here.
he's got Swarm on top.
No.
That was a tough.
Domino looks like someone was about to get curb stomped. Why didn't you use Invertoise back when they had the full pile of swarmers? Do you think that would have helped?
One hit and it would have been.
if you didn't attack his minion, may.
So if I hadn't killed off the guy, oh well.
Because then that would have to attack, play something else.
Invertus would have taken out 3 of them anyway.
2, yes.
Let's not get caught up in the details of who did what, who lost to what. Let's just focus on the rewards. We've made it to level 2.
Got his wish.
Talk is greater than Colm, that's true. Talk is pretty mean round 3 opponent. That's just the way it
who
goes.
do people think Colm should jump in with on his second playthrough?
Yeah. So as you play Gauntlet Mode, win or lose, we kind of progress you up through the levels, and every time you go up a level, you get something new. So this adds cards that you can find when you're drafting. So they go. There's one for each faction, and they go into the card pool. These will now. They're all rare cards. These will now turn up in our card choices.
So your card choices get progressively better and better and better as you level up.
And because we own the Out of Time DLC, there's some Out of Time cards that have also been added to the pool.
If you have already progressed this and you've bought the DLC afterwards,
They're just
you still get them.
yeah, they're just in your pool. You won't get a notification, but they're there. So we won't be using Tiger Eye, who's strong. We can use Scrapper, who's good with defenders, Miasma, who's good with lethal, and Hair Force, who's good with swarm. Extra says Puthon Heart, yeah.
Spotted Puthon there.
Yeah. Well, Puthon's a reptile, so if we want to get a Puthon, we should play with Miasma.
That's a good point.
We go for that?
Yep.
Okay. Let's try and play a couple.
What a great reference, that Turtle Power. Are there more TMNT references in the game?
Well, the Invertoise is just a tortoise. It's not really a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference, right, Fred?
No, but the deck was called Turtle Power.
Yeah. Angelo was saying, are there any other references?
Within the game.
Because like Mega Mutant Power Pets, even the name of it is a reference.
Oh, it's very
The song, our intro song when you boot up Cardpocalypse.
I remember there was in some concept art that we'd done, but I'm not sure if there is in the main game.
So, for example, I don't think we have any of the turtles, with a bandana or anything.
No.
That would have been too easy. So, let's play through this first one quickly.
Your in-game avatar was holding Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toy, wasn't it called?
That's right. Yeah. So my Twitter picture is my little picture you drew of me from a photo of when I was 10, and yeah, I'm holding a little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
was a
character.
That because we're borrowing so much from it, just with the theme of mutant animals and with the name Mega Mutant Power Pets, I actually avoided. I felt it'd be a little bit on the nose if we had
too
many Ninja Turtle references within the game itself, similar to Power Rangers as well, which has a similar lengthy name, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Domino says wasted chances not adding bandana turtles. Sam's room is full of those references. Yeah. Sam doesn't have any Ninja Turtles, I think.
No, he's very tech orientated. So
Star
a lot
Wars,
of computer things, a lot of video games, some sci-fi. Yeah.
Will this survive the turn?
Sam's room actually, and we I don't think we'll see it. We're playing through Out of Time next, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to be playing Out of Time. We don't see Sam's room.
But, yeah, Sam's room itself was based on my room as a child.
Was it? I didn't know that.
Just the positioning of the bed and the desks and the bookcase and things. And there is, I mean, my walls were much more Star Wars than they were Star Trek. But
Okay.
there's definitely it had the little models hanging from the roof and things. Yeah.
Do we want to make our lethals, Angelo, this turn, or let him do it on his turn? His turn messes up the more, I think. Rake Oscuro says Digiwild's greater than Power Pets. Ooh. And suggests
A friend of Ruth.
Ellen, who's in chat there, Ellen C1000 is Ellen, our game writer, will be joining us here on the call in a few minutes. Says we should make a sequel with just Digiwilds as the game. That would work. The lore would work.
Yes, putting lethal onto Toddle is a great move. It was one of my favourite moves in the early days of
Ooh, lethal and health sticker. Yeah,
Magic
that is good.
Gathering was lure, putting lure onto the instant kill creatures in Magic the
God,
Gathering.
remember lure? That's gone.
Yeah, has it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
There's a few cards with that ability. It was really rare.
Yeah.
Like all things must block this if they can.
It was
Oh,
putting
we're out of
lure
cards.
to
Ooh.
do- I think it was
Dangerous.
Thicket
Everyone's out of
Basilisk or
cards here.
something. Angelo, you'd probably know better, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Thicket Basilisk had like the equivalent of Death Touch. I don't even know if they have that ability
Angelo
anymore.
is our resident Magic the Gathering expert. You're getting close here, Colm.
So-
Oh, you've got it though, don't you?
Yeah, both players are out of cards, so we just took 3 damage there because we drew from an empty deck, and that does happen a lot in this first round game where both decks are only 1.
Yes, certainly with Hair Force as well, who draws extra cards.
Yeah, so we can just win here now, but we could also do the style win of letting him draw himself to death. Yes.
There it is. I hope it doesn't bug out.
Yeah, I'm glad it works. Yay! Look, we got an achievement there
Ah, well done.
for winning with no cards left in deck. No, the achievement was probably hidden by my picture, but just assume achievement happened. Okay, so we have our lethal. This guy's cool. So this is a board clear, which we don't have many of.
Ray Cascura said, I think Angelo made a blame. He didn't agree with your play.
I think
I
I
was screaming here, but I realized I muted myself to drink some water.
If someone left every time they disagreed with Colm, we'd have no one working in the company anymore.
yeah. I like shutting down ideas.
I now realized how all the things I was saying are gone.
No.
That's why we didn't listen to you, because you were muted, not because we're poor players. So splatter is one of the few kind of board wipes. When splatter dies, now it can be a bit awkward to kind of get him to die, but he deals lethal damage to everyone, which means everyone dies. Harbinger, I don't really like this guy because he's so
Extra
small.
disagrees with you.
Extro says Harbinger is broken because it's so good.
Well, drawing a card is actually quite in early stages of Gauntlet can be quite damaging.
A little bit risky
It's
here,
really
but like
quickly, yeah.
by round 4 or 5, you want to get through your deck because you want to get to your good cards. So yeah, he's good.
Splatter is amazing though.
We
can get Splatter working well.
in Power Pets in general, we don't have much card draw, so card draw is really good for that reason. Testudo, which I do love the art of the turtle in his undies because he's taking his shell off. But we don't have many mutations. This is a nice mutation. And Tuxic. Can we get a who is it? Tuxic or Twaxic?
Tuxic.
Having said it out loud, I'm going to go with
on 2 rather
Yeah.
than a speech impediment. Yeah.
I'm going with Twaxic now. It's just too good. Twaxic, who makes 2 1/3 lethals. That's really good with our ability. And Spike's also good with our ability, which boosts the health of a lethal minion, which makes them do a lot more minion removal.
Yes.
So
One thing that would work very well with Splatter would be if we had mechanics in game that allowed you to deal direct damage to your own creatures.
yeah, or sacrifice a creature. We don't.
Yes.
We certainly not yet have those in any way.
No.
But yeah, that would be a space you could go into. I'm going to go with these guys, so I can say
Okay.
Twaxic more often.
Toxic and Spikez.
So shuffling, we saw that last time. The ball adds the ball to the board, another attackable kind of thing in the middle. Grab it by attacking the enemy champion. So every time you attack their champion, not their minions, you get the ball, and that gives your champion extra attack. So that's like a whole...
The ball is very nice thematically. It's one I love to play with.
Because it's like a pet's ball.
Defender deck.
Yeah.
If you've got a nice Wolfian defender deck, it's a great one.
It is nice because you're stopping them attacking your champion, getting the ball back. It's also an extra strategic layer, or I guess tactical layer there, of having the ball and when to like grab it back and stuff like that.
Yes.
Busy hands. This one's funny. The AI in early Gauntlet mode can really kill themselves when you take busy hands. So instead of drawing a card per turn, instead every time you play a card you get to draw a card, and the AI is not clever about running out their cards and not playing cards, so they could have no cards in their deck and they'll still play 3 cards and kill themselves with busy hands. Let's play with the ball.
I would suggest trying shuffling.
You want to see shuffling?
Especially since you could just put a 6 cost
Okay.
in your deck.
Okay, I went for shuffling. This time I listened to Angelo.
Okay. This is actually one of my favorite color schemes of opponents. The green on purple versus the purple on green.
Oh yeah, we have very fabulous. Lovely.
Which aren't things that occur to me, but until I see them in that splash screen before a battle.
Oh yeah,
it
was
that's
nice.
Quite nice. Yeah.
So Poufant has ambush and an unusual on transform, dealing 2 damage. So we don't have many direct damage or kind of AoE damage. This one, the few champions who can do that. So
It was based on the art because it does the scream.
The Sonic Blast.
thanks for that. So you don't think I should attack, or is that more in round 1 when they're...
Round 2 you can choose to attack.
Yeah,
Round
so it's
1,
more in round 1. You don't want to put them so close to going mega before you've built up any board presence. Scratchers. He's kind of...
See how good the shuffling was now?
Yeah, so we get a full new hand every time. So
The defender.
So for example, if Spikes doesn't help us, we shouldn't play it because it's going to get shuffled away and we'll get a new card instead of it. You think the defender here?
Yeah, otherwise Scratcher will go 3-1.
Yeah, okay.
Or you attack.
I'm okay with this because he'll trade him here, I think.
Yeah.
Well, more Scratchers are coming.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I would have probably used the second Scratchers and Poufant himself. Ooh.
And kept it alive.
But
Yeah.
he's got ambush. Oh, that's mean.
And a bit of a buff.
Yeah, so now we got to kill this Scratchers because it's going to keep getting worse. Cat Q'd will do our job.
Not attack.
Okay, Angelo. Reckon my fun.
Does not take.
Yes, GBR. A lot of Saturday morning cartoons went into the Mega Mutant Power Pets.
Yeah, so they're like...
The bright colours, that kind of just hyper.
Yeah.
Your parents stay in bed and don't want to deal with children and send you out to the TV.
And you know, we were also looking at like 90s toy ads for that really over the top voiceover, like ridiculous stuff. So we could make a super lethal. Oh no, we lost him, he got shuffled away. Ooh, we do want to get our ambush soon.
No. You don't have less health. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna have it. We're gonna have next health next turn.
And get the spikes out as well.
No, I'm not doing spikes
No,
yet.
better.
I'm gonna have this guy.
Oh, okay.
Now he's probably gonna get rid of the minions.
Oh, no, he's already gone mega.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could kill these. Now I've got ambush, which is good. So we don't take
Really
retaliation
handy
damage.
to have
He has ambush too. We have our lethals. So now we can do stuff here.
Sweet, good stay.
You can clear that board there.
So can we get our lethal? Okay, this can just wait for later. We probably want one of the fatties instead.
Yeah, note that Sinisters as a faction generally are low on attack. That's why you need the neutrals in this deck.
To have people like this.
Your
charge.
main attacker. It is your main attacker. You need to hit with this.
Okay, yeah.
rather than one.
So Sinisters have things like lethal, trickery. The Sinisters are the reptiles, the faction we're playing, the purple faction. GBR, I love the art style in this game. Thanks.
It's good to hear.
Yeah. It can be...
We were chatting about it this morning, actually. It's quite polarizing. And we actually look at that as it's kind of a mark of it. We've kind of nailed the art style in terms of it being distinctive, but we've seen a lot of comments of people saying I love it. We've seen a few of people saying that it turns them right off. But yeah, if we were landing in kind of a bland, pleasing everybody, middle of the road kind of space, we're probably not really doing our job on the art front.
I'd rather some people love the art style and some people hate it than it's just no.
As long as the ratios are in the right.
I mean, you try your best, but I'd rather it was dramatic and interesting than nobody is displeased by it.
Yes.
And this is true in...
I drew a charger and killed us.
Gotcha.
Bye-bye.
I got completely fretted there.
I was actually... we'll just brush over that. I was actually worrying there that you might go on a little bit too long in that playthrough.
And we'd have to play on,
to the story mode, but it was a good time to die.
Very good timing. I'm not going to start another run, but we can just look in at Bloop. So Bloop is our neutral champion. So in Out of Time, we're going to see Out of Time now. Bloop is a special champion and evolves in powers. So you can see Bloop starts like blank basically, and it's compared to even those champions we just played as, kind of terrible. As you play through Gauntlet Mode, we give you those same upgrade choices for Bloop, which is something that happens in Out of Time as well. So it's a nice way to get to try different combos with Bloop.
Yeah. But let's go and see Bloop now in the Out of Time.
Yeah, in a couple more minutes. Anyone got any questions while we have Angelo here for the last couple of minutes? Now's your chance.
Extra regarding the art style there, that we've won you over. Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about the art style is the characters' faces. So the kids' faces, they're super goofy. If you look at one, if you were just showing one kid's face out of context of the game, like here's a picture, what do you think this is? It's like some weird, some slightly Picasso-esque, odd shaped eyes in weird places. But I love it. They're given like, it really captures kids being kind of goofy looking and funny and not their adult selves yet. I really like it. Okay, question from Domino. Who's the best Gauntlet player in the studio?
Fred is.
That's why we called it fretting when you immediately lose.
I would say certainly the most in-depth player, the person who would consider every little aspect would definitely be Angelo.
Yeah, and
because he put all those aspects together.
Yeah, and you could hear there as I was playing, Angelo was screaming in disgust if we did the smallest thing, like attacking on turn one. Yeah, so like Angelo's playing at a different level. I would say we've never really played head to head. There's no easy way to play head to head.
No.
It's worth noting though that Fred probably spent the most time on Gauntlet.
Yeah, but made the least progress. Caught you drinking so you couldn't defend yourself. Ellen points out in chat, I technically beat it first. Ooh.
Oh.
Gauntlet.
Yes, I mentioned earlier I've got 3 little gauntlets, little trophies, but I know one of them.
Oh, was it glitched? Or the AI wasn't playing properly or something?
AI was in place. So
yeah. You didn't reset it?
No, don't tell anyone apart from
all the people watching right now.
People watching, yeah.
So if you're tuning in just now, we're playing Cardpocalypse. It's on Steam right now. We've just been playing Gauntlet Mode, which is a drafting challenge mode, kind of roguelike. You go on a series of ever more difficult battles. We only got to round 3 there. You have to get to round 10 and they get extremely difficult. It's very hard to win, especially early on. It gets a little easier as you unlock some more stuff, so you unlock better stickers and better cards and better starting decks. Well, they're not really much better, but alternate starting decks.
We're on sale at the moment. We're 40% off.
For the next 4 or 5 days. So just until the 26th, until the Tabletop Fest
through to the
is
end
over.
of Tabletop Fest.
Yeah, and that's the end of our launch discount then. So this is a great time to pick up the game if you haven't already, if you're interested in it. This Gauntlet Mode is free. So the base game has a long single-player campaign, very narrative heavy. We're going to be jumping into that kind of gameplay. We're going to play the expansion, but it's the same kind of gameplay. And this Gauntlet Mode is free. So if you buy the base game, you also get Gauntlet Mode. The DLC we're going to play now in a minute is called Out of Time, and it's for sale. It's just launched.
With regard to the best players as well, we should actually, I'm not sure if he's there or if he's tuned in, but Francis over at Versus Evil, our publisher, is also
yeah, he's a bit of a card game wizard.
He is, absolutely. Even like his first couple of turns playing through it, he was bringing up stuff that I hadn't even considered.
Yeah. It's nice to work with people who are so keenly involved in games and are experts.
Yes, he sees the matrix behind the cards.
Angela, if you may have already gone, you still there? No.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll let you go. Go to bed. It's midnight.
Have a good night's sleep.
No, I'm gonna move to the chat.
Okay, Angela's gonna hang out. So
Angelo will drop into the chat there, and we'll drag Ellen out of the chat and get her in on the call to help us out with
Out of Time. Ellen, you can just jump in whenever.
Adieu from me.
Take care.
See you later, Angelo. Thanks for all the advice that we didn't listen to.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point there, Reikaskura. It's one thing that we debated a lot when we first started showing the art to people.
Just to repeat the point is that at first glance, you could think Cardpocalypse is a game for kids. Based on the art style.
Definitely. But it felt important for us to, I guess, inhabit the kids' world while we were doing it. So it makes some of the meaner things that happen within the story a little less mean.
Like poor Jacob.
Presenting it in a nice, fluffy kind of way. Like poor Jacob.
Poor Jacob.
Hi there, guys.
I think Ellen's joined just as we're discussing.
Yeah, we like bringing up the terrible things Ellen wrote to happen to Jacob.
So we torture Angelo with our terrible play, and we torture Ellen with our meanness towards some of the characters.
Pure cruelty.
Our mandated story points that we made Ellen write.
Poor Jacob. What did Jacob ever do to deserve this treatment?
You started it.
Well, we didn't write the game. So welcome, Ellen. Ellen's our lead writer on Cardpocalypse, part of the writing team. We had a few people writing on the game, but Ellen was there for the entire development and our lead writer. Thanks for joining us, Ellen. You're here in Dublin as well, so at least it's not as late as in Greece.
Yeah, it's great to be on chat with you guys.
So we're Sorry, go ahead.
Go.
I was just going to say we're picking up Out of Time on the second day, effectively, which is still the first day because we're stuck in a time loop.
You're stuck in a time loop. So, Out of Time is our standalone DLC. It's for sale now. We only released it a few days ago. I like it because it's more bite-sized. It's standalone. We remix some of the rules, so you only play with one champion instead of collecting different champions, but that champion is wild. You can use cards from any faction in your deck, and then the new thing for Out of Time is that the champion evolves, so you're leveling up your champion and picking different traits to give them as you play Out of Time. So we're going to continue our save game here.
Yes.
I've played through
We need a little previously on.
Yeah.
Out of Town.
Previously, here's Jess. So we've just arrived in school after kind of the first reset of the time loop, right, Ellen?
Yep. And basically, as you play through, you'll see that Jess has essentially been kidnapped and held hostage by Tok, who we saw earlier in the Gauntlet mode that you were playing against, that you definitely beat, and it's a really fun opportunity to play around with essentially that kind of very 90s kind of plot mechanic concept of like the being trapped in a time loop situation. So as soon as Jess is put back on the school bus for a second time, she realizes the situation that she's trapped in, an eternal day in school.
So yeah, a bit of a nightmare for Jess. Bit of a nightmare for Jess, but it sounds like a dream for some of the people who love talk there in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So we are on. So in the main campaign, yeah, we're on Friday again. In the main campaign, it's kind of easier to keep track of where you are because it's Monday, Tuesday through to Friday, and then Friday night. In Out of Time, it's a little harder to know where you are, but this is the first time you get to open up the map. So the previous kind of things you do are completely railroaded, and now is when the game opens up, when Out of Time opens up. Here's our current mission. Come up with a plan to beat Talk. And Jess has basically just realised she's in the time loop, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and she has a couple of ideas about how to get information about what's happening from her friends, basically.
So we have two choices. Oop, actually, yeah, let's see who's here. Oh, I like Liam. He's not mean at all.
There's Kyle's shirt. This is one of my favourite
The Not the Mama?
little Easter eggs, not the mama.
So there are many, many Easter eggs. Was the Dudsdale insignia based on anything?
Dudsdale wasn't. Dudsdale, I kind of had put in the two trees as a little Back to the Future Twin Pines mall reference.
Well, I would never have guessed that.
No, oh look, it was a very small thing. It pops up a little later. I won't go into spoilers. It does pop up a little later with some of the time looping, where the two little pine trees came from.
Okay, yeah.
Logo.
Yeah. If you play through the whole of Out of Time, look out for more pine trees. So we should go to the library, maybe. Hey, Miss Sugar. Such a trooper, an inspiration, a little fighter. The sickly sweet smile. Is Olga? So I'm just zooming through here. Gone too far, but I do want to point out our cigarettes in the vending machine. Just like most schools, there's cigarettes in the vending machine. This is a primary school.
Where else are the teachers going to get
Exactly, yeah. They're not allowed to have a vending machine in the teacher's room. That's the problem. And it's all sweets. I love it.
So this was the smoking was an interesting one. It was one that feels like it was around probably a lot more than it was. I'd say early 90s. It was just at the cusp of when smoking was getting banned in buildings.
Yeah.
But we felt it important to put it in. So
we were thinking of things like The Simpsons. You know, Mrs. Crabapple is just like smoking in front of the children constantly. It's interesting now, if you show characters smoking in a game, it can affect your rating now in games. So it's something you have to be careful of when you're making a game.
So I think we have one character smoking in this game.
That was us, we reached our limit.
Yes, which is the bus driver.
Yeah, you're only allowed to have one. Maybe they're candy cigarettes, says Gibiora. That's a good point. Those little pretend ones, yeah. They're. I haven't seen them anymore. I presume they're not. You're not
come to you for a character reference when the ratings board comes.
Yeah, thanks.
There's so many wonderful Easter eggs in this.
Yeah, I love them. The Reed posters. This is one of my favorites over here. I just can't even say it without laughing. Snitches get stitches. The Dr. Seuss.
That's one thing. Like, I remember rereading Cat the Hat as an adult, and it is such a terrible message for children. It's basically the cat doing all these horrible things, covering it up, and then telling the children not to tell the parents. Snitches get stitches sounds very much like a
little joke. Right. Yeah, not a grim threat. Tell us more about these books. Where's Molly instead of
Where's Molly is
Wally or
where's
Waldo, depending where you are.
Waldo. Well, it was Wally where I grew up anyway. The second one along was a childhood book I had, which I actually found it very hard to relocate.
Detective Beanbody up in the sky in our version.
It was called Professor Peabody up in the air or something. It was basically a book where it was a picture book where there was clues to the mystery hidden without. So you could solve the mystery as you were reading through, and then on the last page it said, "Did you spot this? Did you?"
Ooh, that's cool.
Solve the mystery.
Yeah.
So it had little oil cans and just little things hidden without.
That's the kind of thing I would have loved as a kid.
Yeah, it was one that really stuck with me. Then there's Velveteen Rabbit.
That's just the art for it there, right? That's
Yes.
straight up just a reference. Paddington Bear.
Yes.
Why is Paddington Bear called Marmalade Bear?
Paddington loved marmalade.
Oh, I didn't know that. What's this one here?
That's the Giving Tree. I think we called it the Greedy Boy.
The greedy
Because again,
boy.
it's quite a horrible story. It's a story about a boy who
just takes and takes and takes.
from this tree until it's
Wow.
it's dead.
You love to just punish people for their
Yeah.
stories. What else
It's
we
funny,
got?
'cause a lot of the humor in this game is actually pulled from our own experiences. Of the night. So
Definitely,
kind of
absolutely,
poking fun at like our own experiences and our own childhoods and the kind of silly logic and
Yes.
the way the perspective of things changes as you get older.
Yes. So there's a Gruffalo there.
The
there's a big
Gruffalo,
dog.
I like that because I have small kids now. I read a lot of things like the Gruffalo. Scary Mouse is true.
Bang on.
What's this guy and this guy?
That's Clifford the Big Red Dog, and Grug is the little bushy thatch
I don't know
one,
them.
Which again were children's books.
You had an elephant here on this in one of our earlier builds. This like pattern was just of this carpet was a big elephant.
Completely absent-mindedly.
Yeah, I mean an elephant
had
makes
put
sense.
a big grey elephant onto a blue carpet there.
And then we
it
thought it
very
looked
much
like the Republican
it was
Party.
Owen, our programmer, Owen pointed out that it was a
The symbol of the Republican Party in the
symbol.
US.
So that got changed.
None of us. So we had one writer collaborating with us, Drew, who's from the States. The rest of us are from Europe. So we don't think of things like that. It's not in your face as much. So
Drew
Drew
was our inadvertent culture consultant.
Yeah, he was our culture consultant. We'd say things like,
Speaking
"Well,
of-
do you have bike sheds in American schools?"
Speaking of politics, do we have any Congress women joining us on the stream?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, that'd be good.
That was quite a coup, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's so cool to see. It must be so crazy to have your game being played by
Absolutely, yeah.
Congress people. Yeah, it's weird. Anyone in chat know this pattern? That's one of the ones I was able to guess when I saw it.
It was one of the
first.
very earliest ones that went in as well.
Yeah, it's a very 90s TV show. Can't read this one. Need to zoom in.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or this one.
That's one, yeah. That lower one, I think, was The Golden Compass, the Philip Pullman book, or his Dark Materials.
Yeah, can't read what we've called it. Murder something.
I'm not sure.
Murder Borealis. It's a good name. The BHG.
That was obviously a riff on
The
the
Big
BFG.
happy giant.
the big friendly giant.
Hungry,
Big happy giant.
Hungry Giant.
Would have been happy, I would have.
Dark twist.
Okay, we've had a
And
little
Sam's t-shirt, of course.
Commodore, or
Definitely Commodore.
yeah, Amstrad. I was gonna say.
No, you were an Amstrad child, weren't you?
I was a Spectrum child. ZX Spectrum. Yeah,
Spectrum.
but
Oh, the colours.
oh, it had so few colors, and they were the palette was the worst colors. Like the extreme pink and the extreme cyan, and nothing in between.
It's amazing they went through the list of colours and said, yep, these are the best ones to represent life.
Guarantee you, someone like me, a programmer, was told pick 18 colors, and they're like, okay, I'll pick
put in
yeah,
a nice
I'll
set
max
of
out these
numbers
numbers.
rather than the actual
Boom.
colours.
Yeah. So I remember at the time, Commodore games looked really good, and then they would port them to the Spectrum. They would look absolutely terrible. But that was life.
I grew up with Commodore. Like I say, a lot of things about Sam.
Ellen, I'm going to say, grew up with the PS3.
Not quite. Nintendo 64 was my first.
Okay, there you go.
64,
Yeah,
that's not too bad.
yeah.
90, 98, 99.
We like to
Yeah,
tease
that's
Ellen
my-
for being a baby, but it's really just that the rest of us are really old.
Yeah.
I suppose my first proper one was the GameCube.
Okay,
it's good.
Not even the 64. Yep. But yeah, it's funny throughout, and we'll get on with the game very soon. Just the different perspective that everyone had of what was the 1990s, just the jogging memories. A lot of Ellen's were the late 90s,
yeah.
were 1993, whereas a lot of ours were 1989 was 1993.
Yeah. So we set
we struck a balance.
we set the game in early 90s. We were trying to hit that sweet spot of just pre-internet. because it makes things like a game like this, or the experience of like a whole small town all being into something, it gives it a really nice kind of rumor space. You don't have perfect knowledge. You don't know like what is the ruling on like putting stickers on cards. Well, you just have to all agree and play.
And kids worshipping magazines and the fact that those things are canon and trying to figure things out themselves, how to finish a game, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yes. So let's get on with
so we need to talk to Sam about, what are we trying to get here? Just the science of time travel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It says you would need a powerful computer and something that could cause a wormhole. To put those together, you need very detailed blueprints. Are there any blueprints in that book? I guess I better find some crayons and get drawing. That's what I'll be going for. That's what blueprints are made of. You can't draw your own blueprints for a time machine.
I love that.
Watch me. I really love the expressions on the kids, and you know, just the fact that they're so sparsely animated. They just do blinks, but like just the changing expression based on what they say, I think gives them so much life. It really works for me. Watch me. Well, you can, but it won't work. Says you. Says your D grade in our last science quiz. Ooh.
Ding.
Now that I think about it, I remember seeing plans for a time machine in another book once. Which one? Oh yeah, it was Forward to the Past. This Back to the Future? The book?
It is.
Is this the novelization of the movie? Forward to the Past is a true story? I think we have to say that. Ellen, do you enjoy like renaming stuff? There's a lot of it in the game.
Yeah, it's really fun to come up with like those kind of slightly off-brand versions of references of things. It's really good fun.
Like DigiWild.
Yeah, exactly, like DigiWild. We were talking before. Will be our sequel. Of course, it will be a solitaire-like game. Yeah, but it's really cool to play around with. Like Jess is a character here too. I mean, you can see the kind of reactions that she can have because she's a very specific character, but she's kind of multifaceted, and she's, you know, in one moment she's inclusive and friendly, but she can be like, you know, bubbly and cunning and
quite sassy.
You know, sassy and stubborn and short-tempered, and it's really interesting to be able to tell a story from that perspective as opposed to like kind of a blank slate character that, you know, you can just kind of
and we did that was
silent protagonist sort of thing.
That was very much on purpose, because we wanted to inject much more character into your choices, you know, the things you say. We didn't want to have to try and catch, okay, there's only 3 choices and we need to like the good, the evil, and the neutral one, which there's definitely some RPGs fall into that trap, I think, and it's way less fun. When you were writing, so you had like a version of Jess in your head, did you have like 3 variations of Jess and you'd be like, okay, I need the super sassy response, I need the friendly response, or was it kind of down to each conversation?
I think it was down to the context, and maybe there was Jess the way she wanted to respond, Jess on her worst day and Jess on her best day.
Okay.
You know, it also could have been, you know, that she's having a conversation with Sam and she's thinking all of these things at once in her head, and these are the kinds of things that you could throw out, you know, and they're all the kind of funny things that kids think of very fast all at once, like, was this real? And wait, there was a book, and also like, how are we going to get a hold of that? And it's all kind of happening, you know, very rapidly in kids' minds. And I think it's also comes from the point of, you know, how she wants to deal with a situation. Like, do I want to be kinder to this person even though they're annoying me? Do I want to be, you know, really harsh because that's what they deserve? So she has kind of these kind of elements to her that kind of depend on the context of the situation, but also a little bit on how the character would maybe push Jess if there were a friend talking over her shoulder.
Okay. Really good question here. Extra says, I'd love to know what your reason was behind making Jess a character in a wheelchair. Not that it's a problem, but it's not something that is commonly seen, I suppose. So
yeah, so that was something that you know, we all talked about together, and it was just really one small idea, and it really doesn't honestly affect her character that much. It's one aspect of her character that she uses a wheelchair, and it's really just that doesn't really seem to have a huge effect on the kind of person that she is and the way that she moves about the world, apart from sometimes when people will draw more attention to it than there needs to be. So really, at the end of the day, she's just the same kind of kid as any other kind of 90s kid, is obsessed with card games and obsessed with playing with her friends and having fun. And it's one very small thing that we can do to be like a bit more inclusive of a whole heap of gamers that play games that don't necessarily see themselves represented as often.
And I really like that
it's a very easy thing to do.
It's kind of a background, like, facet of her personality. It's not her only thing. It's not her main thing even.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just kind of one small element of her character. Yeah.
And I love how the other kids react, which it would be very true to life at this age in particular, like 9, 10, is interest, and then immediately forget about it. It's not a big thing to kids.
See straight past it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes people, will misinterpret or misunderstand and say something, like the first time Yolanda meets Jess, says, "Oh, can I have a turn?" Yeah, exactly, which is kind of what kids might do when they don't understand, and then Jess kind of explains to Yolanda, not really, because I kind of
need it.
There's a lovely honesty in those exchanges.
Yeah.
Certainly with Yolanda, she's probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Just because she is very much worn on the sleeve.
Yeah, she hasn't got a major filter there, and sometimes that's really endearing, and sometimes it drives characters nuts. But she's she's a lovely character. So it was one small idea we had, but it wasn't just our story to tell or perspective to present either. So we actually had someone come in, a consultant, to check the inclusivity and accessibility of the gameplay and the narrative content as well, who's Cherry
Ray Thompson. So they gave us mostly like feedback on our representation, Jess as a character, as a wheelchair user. Have we missed things? And there were some things we missed. We did pretty good though, and I'm really proud of what we represent in the finished game, Cardpocalypse. I think it's really great, and Jess is a brilliant character. Extra, thanks for the answer. Cool.
Alright, let's go.
Forward to the Past is a true story. Man, we should really be learning stuff like this in school. That sentence encapsulates a lot of like feelings we all had when we were around this age. It's not based on real stuff, Jess. It's fiction. You're fiction. Hey. I like Jess's squinty eyes when she's trying to be mean. Yeah. And
she's being sassy.
When she sees great cards, the anime eyes, they're the other expression I like. It's the only book I know that has Time Machine blueprints in it. I guess I'll check it out. Hand it over. Oh, I don't have it. I saw Megan reading it yesterday. She must have checked it out. Ugh, not Megan. She hates me. What did we do to Megan?
Megan
this point?
Kind of essentially picked a fight with Jess immediately over her being a new kid.
Oh yeah.
Megan is
ruining everything for everyone on her first day.
One of the mean girls.
Maybe if you're super nice, she'll give it to you. Thanks, Sam.
Jess is a new kid who moved into a new school, and on her very first day, if you played the main game, you'll remember. But if you haven't, the very first day, she has a big fight with a school bully while playing the game, and ends up getting it banned for the entire school. And she has to kind of build herself back up from that point as well.
She's a lot of enemies.
Yeah, she has a good few enemies.
For a new kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Jess.
So now we're locked into this quest line, aren't we? Or yeah. Physics fun.
With a giant head. That was one, speaking of the art style, and Lance over at